Hello, my name is Greg Massi, and this is episode number 39 of The Color of Air, a podcast about the musical journey. You can find us online at colorofair.com, or, as I announced over the last couple weeks, we now have retconindustries.com, your online source for everything that I'm involved in. We've got Ballaset there, or links to Ballaset there, links to Concilium, links to Capital Wrestling, um, uh, an upcoming blog, video content, and probably, some other projects that I haven't had a chance to announce yet. My Patreon, if that interests you. So, yes, retconindustries.com, go there. You can also find us on Twitter at The Color of Air, facebook.com/colorofairpodcast, or if you want to email us, colorofairpodcast@gmail.com. Today's a pretty cool episode. A few months ago, I got a chance to sit down for a little bit with Jeff, Sarah, and Rich from the band Mindmaze. And they were a band that I've been interested to have on here for a while. They're a up-and-coming progressive power metal band out of Pennsylvania. They just released their third album, Resolve, this past year. And I saw them a couple of years ago at Metal Thursday at Ralph's, and they I was very impressed with them at the time. It can sometimes, I sometimes will see, like, I don't want to make it sound like they're kids, because they're not, but when at my age, my ancient age of 39, when I see, younger bands at shows, sometimes, I see bands who, aren't really quite developed yet. Some bands who think they're developed but don't really come off very well, or, the bottom line is I can be super cynical about bands. Let's just be honest. It's just come from years and years of listening to so many different bands, and that sounds egotistical, but it's not supposed to be. The point is, everybody gets a little cynical about music as they get older. But that makes it all the more exciting when you find a band that kind of reinvigorates that those feelings of music that you had when you were younger. And kind of wipes away the cynicism and makes you, remember that, there is music going on, new music going on, and it's good, and the future looks bright, and all that other happy stuff about, the continuation of the legacy of good music, I guess. Anyway, so Mindmaze was the band for me that kind of epitomized that, kind of like Armory, who I've had on the podcast before. And surprise, surprise, I saw Mindmaze first when they opened up for Armory. So yeah, Mindmaze, what's not to love about them? They've got incredible soaring melodic vocals, astounding lead guitar work, superb bass, superb drums, really good songwriting. And as you listen to the Mindmaze records from the first one to the most recent one, you see that there's this definite, progression. They're a band that cares a lot about moving forward and trying new things and trying to become better at what they do. They're not just kind of resting their laurels on, on the efforts of their early stuff. They're really, pushing themselves with each new release. And when I first heard the Resolve album, I was blown away. There's just, like I said, it's just, like I said, superb drums, superb bass, amazing lead guitar, great vocals, great songwriting. It's the kind of thing that I like to see, that I like to hear, see, younger bands getting out there and really, pushing the envelope of what they can do, and really achieving something really cool creatively. And it's not even just what they achieve creatively. Just even if you don't like their music, you look at what they've accomplished. They've built this really cool grassroots kind of fan base for themselves. And that's really what the modern road to success is, at least as far as I can tell, is that you have to develop this kind of hardcore fan base that will continue to support you and purchase your music and buy your t-shirts and all that other stuff. And you just kind of grow that little bit by little bit, and that you're a success. It's no longer, will they be signed to Capitol Records and get $1 million contract. It's what kind of fan base can they make for themselves. And they've got this really cool growing fan base which supports them in all their different endeavors. And it shows. I mean, they've managed to, like I said, put out 3 records and an EP. They go on tours all the time. They managed to secure a spot opening up for Armored Saint and Saxon. And, they're spreading their wings and they're just pushing it, man. It's awesome. And it's great to see them achieve success. So, yeah, not much else to say about them. They're just awesome. So check them out. And to start off with, here is a song. They made a video for this off of their newest album, Resolve. And this song is called Sign of Life. So first of all, how you guys doing?
We're doing pretty well.
Very busy.
Yeah.
So you're in the middle of your string of CD release shows. So you had the first one in Baltimore.
Yeah,
Yes.
supporting Y&T.
And how did that go?
That was great.
Yeah.
Better than I expected it to be. Honestly, a really good crowd.
People were really into it, very receptive.
We didn't really see a lot of people that we knew already, but we made a lot of new fans, which is always a really awesome thing to do.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I know when I saw you a few years ago here, it was the first time I saw you, and I was like, I was like, oh, there's something cool going on here. So, I kind of been following, seeing how you've been doing, and it seems like you've been growing leaps and bounds every year.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it feels to you guys. But.
Yeah, I mean, it generally has definitely been like that. It's weird. It's like every now and then there'll be like a benchmark type moment that just kind of really makes us go like, wow, like I guess like we have kind of like gotten to like a slightly higher plateau or something.
Yeah.
And so what has been kind of the last couple of years, what's been kind of the highlights for you? Like who have you played with that's kind of been...
The Saxon tour, the Saxon and Armored Saint tour in like the fall of 2015, I think was kind of the collective favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that, and I mean, we just filmed our first like actual music video, and that was kind of a highlight for us.
Cool.
Yes,
Really good.
thank you. But yeah, we never did anything like we never did anything like that before, so that was exciting for sure.
Cool. And so, so the new album is coming out tomorrow, right?
Yep.
But
Yes.
you have copies tonight. But,
Yeah.
but nobody's here with me, so so how long? I think I remember seeing posts that you guys were kind of getting not down to the wire, but you're kind of getting to that, the point we all get to recording where you're like, I just want to get this done and over with. How long of a process did the album take for you?
We started pre-production at the very tail end of
Like
2015.
2015. Yeah.
We started tracking drums in like April, I think, or late March of 2016.
Yes.
And pretty much worked on the album all year, like, front to back. Started mixing around the end of the year and then delivered the album to the label in January. So, like, from start to finish, it was like over a year, including writing. It was like close to a year and a half, I think.
Yes, I remember summer 2015 is when you and I started to really get together and just hash out some riffs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was definitely the longest process of any of the 3 albums thus far.
Cool. And did you end up, did you do it a lot in the studio, or did you do any at home?
Pretty much everything was done in the studio.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, we're stupid and don't bother to actually set up like good home recording rigs.
We could probably save a lot of money and time that way.
Yeah,
But
the studio we record in is like 10 minutes from my house, and we have a really good working relationship with the guy who owns it, and he's pretty cheap too and doesn't nickel and dime us for the time either.
Yeah.
So like, we kind of just enjoy being in there for the most part. Well, Rich and I do. I don't know about Sarah, but
I'll be honest, I kind of hate the studio. Like, I'm one of those people that actually gets like more anxiety about recording than I do about performing live. Like, something about like that being like the final, like that being like a permanent, committed, memory and example of your capabilities as a musician, that just kind of scares me, and I struggle with that. But I definitely did better this time around, I would say, than in the past, so that was good.
Yeah, I'm very much the same way myself as well.
Yeah, it's like the red light syndrome. It's like you're fine singing in your car, playing, doing shows, but then you're sitting there in the studio and someone hits the red light, and you're like, okay.
You
go for it.
And
yeah, fortunately, I feel like every album we've done now, I feel like everyone gets a bit better as far as like being able to capture what they're capable of in the studio. It's like, I don't really think that we've gotten that much better as players or singers or anything over the last few years, as much as we've just gotten much better at being able to give our best performances on the recording.
Yeah, because there's definitely like, I haven't recorded anything with the band since I did Mask of Lies, but there's definitely was like a tendency when you're under the gun to sort of like maybe, I don't know, shortchange yourself and what you've written a little bit just for the sake of, like getting it done, getting it down tight. But I think this time I feel like we've all like really gave it everything we could. I feel like this album is a very good representation as like, the full spectrum of, what we're capable musically.
Oh, yeah, cool. I mean, the tracks that I heard so far, like the videos, the main video and the lyric video, I mean, I thought they came out really good, and I love the riffs sound good, the vocals sound great. I mean, the production sounds amazing. So
Thank you.
Thanks.
And of course, since we are in Worcester at Ralph's, I'd be remiss to not mention that you guys were probably the standout at the Halloween trail last year. For me, at least.
We've had a couple of people say that to us actually, which is really cool, and it definitely means a lot. It was,
W.A.S.P.
yeah.
It's very rare. Well, it was kind of rare to see someone come up to do the show. Usually, it's what drew you to it? Just like seeing all the posts about it and thinking it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. It's like I'd heard about the event from prior years of just kind of knowing some people in this scene up here. But yeah, I saw them start to brainstorm. Oh, who wants to play this year? And a lot of bands end up doing it where it's kind of like member from this band, member from that band. But it's like with us coming from so far away, it definitely made the most sense to just do it as one complete unit. And we kind of just brainstormed stuff for a while, and we're like, well, stylistically, what makes sense, and what's kind of like a little on the easier side maybe to learn, so we could really do it under the gun, and then we just kind of gradually worked a few of the songs into our normal sets as like encores and last tracks and stuff at shows, so that by the time we actually got here to do it, only 2 or 3 of the songs were being played for like the first ever time.
Well, if I remember correctly, I think when I saw you the first time, Chris, you played Arena of Pleasure.
Yeah.
Which I was like super psyched about, because like Crimson Idol is like one of my favorite records.
Yeah, it's like, as a band, one of our favorite albums also.
Yeah,
no doubt.
So I'm glad you also played those.
Yeah, I mean, and it definitely, that's one of the...
And the Heretic, I'm sorry.
yeah.
I geek out about these kinds of things
The Crimson Idol is definitely, I would say, one of like the 3 concept albums that I think like most helped shape our new album, like in terms of like story and the way the musicality of it fits the concept. And it's I kind of think of it musically as like Crimson Idol meets Dream Theater Scenes from a Memory. It's kind of like
the other big one.
I would say, yeah, it's like a hodgepodge of like those 2 approaches to conceptual albums.
That's cool. Well, that's all good shit for me, man. Like, and the only thing I'll say I was disappointed by is that you didn't have exploding codpiece, and no one was throwing raw meat. So
Come on.
We actually thought about trying to find a way to like fake the raw meat thing.
Yeah, well, that's normally. Well, sorry, I should say normally people when they do the tributes here will do some sort of fake thing, except for one year when a black metal band actually did bring a fresh deer carcass.
Oh, Jesus!
Oh
my god!
Wow.
And and they were covering a band that didn't even do that in their stages. Because I was here, because I was playing that night, and actually my dad came, my 70-year-old dad, and like already he's like, looking around, he's like, oh. And
Interesting video.
I'm like, Dad, you don't want to see this band. Let's go downstairs. And already the smoke machine was coming up, and I smelled this like weird scent. I'm like, oh, maybe there's some, stale water in the fog machine. And then next thing you know, people are flying out, being like, no, there's a deer on stage. It's
Holy
dead,
shit.
and it's smelling up the entire place.
Oh my gosh.
So
Well, no, we didn't want to make a mess and
Yeah.
But I mean, we did manage to. I had my dad cut an actual saw blade in half to make the wrist.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was
things,
awesome.
and that actually came out really cool. But I was worried that I was gonna probably kill someone while we were playing.
And you came close. I got my hair caught in those things a few times, actually, if I remember correctly.
Look, it's par for the course when you do the, you do the tribute shows. Well, yeah, that's cool. I mean, now you're not doing that again this year, or do you?
No, we thought of, we joked about it, but it's like, the thing is, it's like, I didn't want to come back and just do the W.A.S.P thing again. I'd want to do something else.
You always
and
want to do something,
there's just no time with us being preoccupied with the album and these release shows and then the tour that's coming up, and and that's going to eat up a lot of the time that we can spend doing gigs the rest of the year, and so it just didn't make sense. But maybe next year.
Yeah.
I have a couple things in the back of my mind that I'd really like to do in the future, but
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So yeah, speaking of the tours, so now you said you did the tour with Saxon and Armored Saint. So is this kind of your second tour, or have you done like smaller tours?
we've done a couple of like little like 5-day runs with this one band that we know from down in like the DC area named Iris Divine. They're a really great progressive metal band. And we've done 2 little like 4-show runs with them in different areas over the past couple of years, but and we've done 1 or 2 little stints of things like that on our own as well. But the Saxon tour was definitely like our first like real legit thing in like legit venues, and it was about 11 days, I think we were gone. And now the upcoming tour, we're going to be gone just over 3 weeks, and it's 19 shows. So it's definitely like a new level for us, no question.
And speaking from experience, once tours go beyond 3 weeks, they get a little annoying. So
we're paranoid enough about this on its own.
Well, cool. Thanks for taking the time for doing this interview for the podcast. I mean, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm psyched that there's a lot of cool new metal bands, and I love the. Actually, before I go, I just want to say, just following you guys on Facebook, you guys are really into some of the coolest music.
Thank you.
It makes me happy just because for so long, I mean, I was made fun of in high school for listening to Iron Maiden, but now, seeing, it's, and, one other thing, sorry, Sarah, I do have to ask, because I thought this was really cool. What was it like singing with Kip Winger?
Oh boy. That was scary. It was very scary. I mean, the first time I did it, it was the scariest experience ever. I was, sometimes I get anxiety just singing my own music in front of people, and then I have to stand on top of Kip Winger and sing a freaking Winger song in front of all these women who are probably about ready to stab me because they're jealous. So I mean, it was kind of intense, but I mean, I managed to I delivered. It was okay. I got through the experience, and well enough so that I just did it again. We actually opened for Kip at the Sellersville Theater, where we've played a few shows there, and it's an awesome venue, close to home. And then after we opened that show, he's like, "Do you want to come to the show tomorrow night and sing with me?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I had to work the next day, and I only slept 2 hours. But I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever Kip Winger says." So, but no, it was really cool.
Well, it also looked from the pictures, it looked like he was getting up right next to you with his face. I was like, that's got to be even more intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, he does that on purpose too. I mean, it's just it's quite funny. But I managed to survive. I'm not good at I don't know, public, anything like that. If people flirt with me on the spot, I'm just I know. I'm I act like I'm 12 and can't speak. So it's that was hard, but it was cool. He's a really nice guy, so that helps.
Yeah, cool. Well, again, thank you guys. Good luck tonight, and good luck with the future, with the albums release and the tours.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
No problem.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.